I went to prison 11 times for short terms. I figured it out, and it ended up being about 8 years total that I spent in the penitentiary.
I believe I spent around 52 months behind bars, between county time and prison time. Did a 6-month term in the secured housing unit, and I was back there, and those guys don't play around. You know, I thought I was a badass, and I went to do some time with some real badasses, and I was like, this ain't so fun anymore.
I've done time for the selling of drugs and also for transportation of drugs. And I've also went to prison for an armed robbery.
Heroin seemed to be the drug that took me to prison and gave me lots of time. I ended up doing a cycle of 9 violations, and you know, anywhere from 60 days to a year straight, but 9 of them.
I've been to prison 1 conviction and 2 violations. I was convicted for a 2nd-degree robbery. I did stay in prison 8.5 years. Prison is definitely a scary place.
I was locked up in prison 2 different times for a year because I would not testify against the people I grew up in Chino and the barrio that belonged to gangs.
My name is Dr. Alan Berger. I'm a clinical psychologist, and I'm an expert in the science of recovery. I've been helping individuals and families recover from various addictions for over 40 years now. My journey started back in 1971 when I came back from Vietnam with a pretty serious problem. And in that time, I've seen so many miracles. What we're going to see in this video today, we're going to see men whose addiction has taken them to prison. Some of these men that you're going to hear from spent the majority of their life in prison. But what you're also going to see is them rise above it all. You're going to see that they took this idea of themselves as an addict, as a criminal, as a con, and they changed their understanding of themselves through the process of recovery. You see, that's how powerful, how transformative this process of recovery is. When people work the 12 steps of like Narcotics Anonymous or Alcoholics Anonymous, they can now discover that lost true self that was taken away with their addiction.
Open-minded to new experiences, learning new stuff. It's just as exciting as, you know, starting the day as a dope fiend and coming across some big hit, getting away with a couple $1,000 and nobody knowing about it, and nobody ever even suspecting that it's gone. and that's glorious. I've found some similar spiritual type things that are just as glorious, like what hope can mean.
I found myself in a recovery home that works the 12 steps, the 12-step program. I started working those suggested steps, the suggested program. That was the beginning of the real miracle. You know, that was the beginning of the healing process of all those issues that I deal with on a daily basis. I would love to say that today I'm free of all those issues, because I'm obviously not.
I drank and used drugs from 1967 until 1988. And I've been clean from drugs and alcohol since December of the 3rd of 1988 up until this present day. The thing that started me out my way was when I was looking up in the rain and I said, "Help me, I'm dying." And my life has not been the same since.
There's not a whole lot of slogans really, you know, if you don't drink, you won't get drunk.